Hi everyone! So in this video, we're going to go ahead and work through some examples of how to do unit conversions involving the mole. So the good news is unit conversions involving the mole are basically exactly the same as any other unit conversions. The only thing is we need to use the conversion factor of 1 mole. And remember, 1 mole can be used to describe pretty much anything. So 1 mole of atoms, 1 mole of ions, 1 mole of donuts. So 1 mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd things. And again, that thing could be atoms, could be ions, could be donuts. Okay, but we have 1 mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So let's go ahead and see this in some practice. So example 1, how many zinc atoms are in 0.25 moles of zinc? So, as always, we're going to start by underlining our given and circling what we want to find. So in this case, we are given 0.25 moles of zinc, and we are asked to find how many zinc atoms. Okay, so from here, we're going to set up our factor label table. Remember, our given always goes in that first spot. So 0.25, and then don't be lazy with your labels. So moles of zinc. Okay. Now we want to think on the diagonal, we need the exact same unit. So I'm going to have moles of zinc again. And I want to go from moles of zinc to atoms of zinc. So this is going to be a great time. We're going to go ahead and use the mole. So if we think about that relationship, 1 mole is going to go on the bottom because we already know we have to have moles on the bottom because they need to cancel out on the diagonal. So up on top, we're going to put the other numbers. So that Avogadro's number is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. And in this case, our things is zinc atoms. Okay, so we have our factor label table all set up. Now, numbers up on top, I need to multiply those together. So let's see how to put that into our calculator. So if you have a different calculator, it might be different steps, but this is how I use my graphing calculator. So I'm going to start by putting in my given, so 0.25, and I'm going to multiply that by the mole, Avogadro's number, so 6.02, and then I'm going to type second EE, which on my calculator gives me the E, which is calculator speak for, hey, I'm doing scientific notation. So now I just need to put in my power, which is 23. And then if I hit enter, that gives me my answer. So 1.505. Remember, this is calculator speak with the E, so we don't want to write E23. We want to put that into proper scientific notation. So times 10 to the 23rd. But we do still need to think about sig figs. So we have 2 sig figs in our given. Remember, we always go back to the given to figure out the number. So I have 2 sig figs here, so I need 2 sig figs in my answer. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the 0.5 because the 1.5 gives me my 2 sig figs. So 1.5 times 10 to the 23rd zinc atoms. Okay, so let's go ahead and try out number 2. Calculate the number of molecules in 11.5 moles of water. Okay, so again, we want to start by underlining our given. So 11.5 moles of water. And we want to circle what we are trying to find, which is the number of molecules. So the next step, we want to set up our factor label table. Remember that given is always going to go in the first box. So 11.5 moles of water, H2O. And if I have moles up top, I need moles on the bottom. So this case, instead of going to atoms, we're going to go to molecules, but I'm still going to use Avogadro's number to get there. So if we think about this conversion factor, 1 mole goes on the bottom, and then Avogadro's number goes up on top. Remember, we stack our conversion factors, one on top of the other. And this one's going to be molecules of water, H2O. One thing I want to point out, be really careful here. MOL is the abbreviation for moles. Molecules, you can abbreviate M-O-L-E-C. Okay, so that's molecules, that's moles. They're different things. So now we have 11.5 times Avogadro's number. So we're going to go ahead and bring our calculator up, 11.5, and then times, we want to put in Avogadro's number. So again, 6.02, and then I need to do that times 10 to the 23rd. So second, comma, which gives me my E, and then 23. So that gives me my number 6.923, and I can put that in standard scientific notation. So times 10 to the 24th. Now, again, we want to think about sig figs. So I go back to my given. I have 3 sig figs in this given. So in my answer, I need 3 sig figs. So I'm going to chop it off after the 2 because 6.92 gives me my 3 sig figs. So 6.92 and then times 10 to the 24th. And finally, don't forget your units. So molecules of water, H2O. Okay, one final example. If you have 5.75 times 10 to the 24th atoms of aluminum, how many moles of aluminum do you have? So again, we start by underlining our given. We want to circle what we want to find. So the moles of aluminum. So we want to set up our factor label table. As always, our given goes in the first box. So 5.75 times 10 to the 24th atoms of aluminum. Okay, if we have atoms of aluminum up top, we know we need atoms of aluminum on the bottom. So if we think about our conversion factor here, so 1 mole is equal to this many things. Well, in this case, this Avogadro's number is going to be describing the number of atoms. So that's going to go on the bottom this time. Okay, that's how many atoms, because we're trying to find how many moles of aluminum. Okay, so 1 goes with the moles. The other number goes with the other thing. So atoms, molecules, donuts, whatever it is. So again, atoms cancel out. Now we just need to plug this into our calculator. So this time I have 2 numbers in scientific notation. So I'm going to type the first one, 5.75, second, comma to get my E, and then 24. So that's my top. Multiply by 1 doesn't change anything. So then we're going to divide by the stuff on the bottom. So divide by 6.02, second, comma, 23. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and write down that number. 9.55149, a whole bunch of other numbers. So we want to think about sig figs again. Now, whenever we have numbers in scientific notation and we want to think about the number of sig figs, we look at the front part of it. So everything that's in front of the times 10 to the 24th. So this number here has 3 sig figs. So my answer, I want to chop off the extra and just leave 3 sig figs. So 9.55 moles of aluminum is going to be my answer. Now, just a quick check, we want to see if these numbers make sense for our answers. So moles is already a really big quantity, so it makes sense that I have a smaller number with it, less than 10. Molecules. Molecules are teeny tiny, so it makes sense I have a lot of them. Same thing with atoms. Makes sense I have a lot because atoms are really small. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, go through the process and get some practice. Good luck, everyone. Bye.